Mr. Gage, would you lead us in the pledge, please?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
First item on the agenda is the approval of the agenda.
Move. Second.
Motion by Weiss, second by Feldheim. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. All right, so next up is we've got the opportunity for any public comments. I believe we have one person here today. It's limited to 3 minutes, Casey, but you're welcome to...
You must know me well. Hi, my name's Casey Wiseman. I'm the Executive Director for the Aberdeen Convention and Visitors Bureau, and I'm here to talk about National Travel and Tourism Week, May 1st through the 7th. What is Travel and Tourism Week, and how does it relate to Aberdeen? It's an annual celebration that contributes contributions on U.S. travel. It will spotlight the critical role that travel will play in driving economic growth, building a path for the future, hence their tagline, the future of travel. What does that mean to Aberdeen? That means businesses thriving from visitors coming to visit, attractions, events, all of those geared around visitors coming and bringing that economic growth back to the city of Aberdeen. And I just wanted to come this morning and make you all aware that May 1st through the 7th is National Travel and Tourism Week. I would invite the county and all its employees to help celebrate that yearly message of travel and the future of travel. I have a couple handouts here. I'll pass these around. May 4th, South Dakota Tourism and the Convention and Visitors Bureau is hosting hospitality training. It's going to be from 8:30 to 10:30 at the Aberdeen Capitol Theater. It's free to attend. Christine Cashin is going to be the guest speaker. She comes highly recommended from the tourism industry and our partners. And I just wanted to extend the invite to the county commission, your department heads, and your staff, if we could allow them to attend that. Again, it'd be something that they would bring back to their place of employment and better themselves in the long run. Along with that, my final request is May 1st through the 7th, National Travel and Tourism Week. I believe in the past, the courthouse has been lit up, and I would like to request, if we could, the industry standard for National Travel and Tourism Week is red. And I was wondering if there was a possibility or how somebody would go about lighting up the courthouse in red in honor of that week. And I guess I'm just, as a formal request or a formal ask, I don't know how to go about doing that, but if we could, I would like to get that lit up in honor of National Travel and Tourism Week.
We can check with maintenance. I guess I've never heard the request prior to this, but
Okay.
I can check with maintenance, see if that is an option.
Yeah. I think we have done it in the past. It was lit up in purple in honor of...
Yeah, it was the 100th anniversary of women's suffrage, women's rights.
There you go. Thank you.
Yep, so we had
Thank
the
you.
courthouse lit up, and that was a service that was donated to us by a community member.
Okay.
We don't actually have the resources to light up the courthouse.
Or if you have a contact,
Yeah,
I would be open to anything, as long as you guys and gals are open to the possibility of making it happen. I would love to try to go down that path of
Sure.
making it happen, so.
I'll get a hold of maintenance and have Judy get in touch with you to see
Okay.
what hoops we have to jump through.
Perfect.
What time is this?
From 8:30 to 10:30.
8:30 to 10:30.
Yep.
Yeah.
And
Is
again,
there a time frame on this, or what time is it?
8:30 to 10:30.
Okay.
Yep.
You were talking.
And she is an awesome speaker. She keeps you entertained. It's not going to be a bore fest. But if you could open it up to your department heads and staff, we'd love to pack the house.
All right.
Thank you.
Sounds good. Thank you,
Thank
Casey.
you.
Any questions on your part? Any other?
No, thank you.
Okay.
Appreciate
Thanks.
it.
Appreciate it.
Anyone else here to discuss any issues before the commission this morning? Hearing and seeing none, we will move on. Public hearing on second reading, possible adoption of ordinance 216, mini ag rezone.
This is a zoning request from Troy Schaefer, looking to go from agricultural preservation district to mini ag. The legal address is Lot 3, Fikert Second Subdivision in the southeast quarter of Section 20 T124 North R64 west of the 5th PM.
Is there anyone here to speak to this ordinance?
Move it.
Motion by Feldheim, second by Gage to adopt the ordinance. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Next up, we've got bid requests. First of all, the Beef Barn spray foam. Morning, Rachel.
Morning.
Morning.
You guys,
Spray some foam?
well, we'll find out. You guys had asked if I would go back to Brian and ask if he would be willing to take out the 50%. Remember in the bid last week, Commissioner Weiss, you had noticed that it had the if accepted will require a 50% deposit. He is willing to do that. When he messaged us, he said he's willing to extend his estimate offer for 4 months, which would allow us to know whether or not we get that grant. In return, we'll just have to allow him some extra time to do the project if we decide to go that way. Since last week, I've had a couple people approach me just saying, is 34,000, 1 inch, is that really gonna do the job? So the other option is to use some money or part of the money to just vamp up the electrical in there for the 6 days and do more fans and things of that nature without tripping breakers. So I think Kathy's been real helpful, helping me to, what can we and can't we do once you have these proposals out there without losing the opportunity to do it, but yet pushing it back a little to see where that grant funding is. So I guess my recommendation is to accept it contingent on getting the grant funding and see where that comes in at, if we do get some money towards it, and if we don't, then we can reevaluate at that point what we should do on that barn.
But that way we've got a locked quote.
Yeah.
All right.
I would agree that, just from the experience of my kids and grandkids in there, sometimes you almost gotta take a generator. Everybody runs a generator because there just isn't quite enough current in there a lot of times, and probably not, it wouldn't be a bad idea maybe to boost that up a little bit.
And can you do that for 10,000 versus doing this for 34?
Exactly.
That's something we'll have to check into.
And some great big, air moving fans, some big squirrel cage fans or something,
Okay. Would entertain a motion to accept the bid contingent with
And
the
this-
contingencies applied.
1 inch, no coating.
I'll move it.
Motion by Fikert,
Second.
second by Weiss to accept the bid with the contingencies attached. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries.
Appreciate your time.
Thank
Does
you,
that barn
Rachel.
have,
Would you like to copy that?
Sure.
does that barn have the vent movers on the top for the air to go straight through in the top? Has that been cut into the top gable ends?
No. It's got skylights, but there's no ventilation on the top. We have punched holes in the sides, like the walls.
When all your heat rises, I wonder if you wouldn't be better off putting fans on the gable ends, push that air out.
Pull it out.
Because, all your heat's rising, and, most of those barns will have gable ends up close to the top of the peak and moving that air out from the
Sure.
top.
Yeah, we could try anything.
I would think that would be a big help, just to move that air out of that top.
Different approaches, or a couple large ceiling fans, or...
Right.
Who in the community does that kind of stuff, I wonder, as far as air exchange or air
I think
movement?
like custom sheet metal might be able to do something like that as far as venting and so on.
Jake's,
Yeah.
heating, cooling.
Because they have expressed some concern too with the ones we do have there in the sides of the walls. They just kind of prop them open.
Mhm.
It's
Yeah.
kind of dangerous. They said maybe we should have the roll, some type of a garage door type.
Sure. Well, I'm thinking more along the lines of an attic-type fan, where they have the
Yeah.
attic with the louvers on the top, where you turn it on, the fan automatically moves the louvers out. They move a lot of air. A lot of these big houses with attics have a lot of those attic fans. I was thinking that would be more of a more conventional type way of doing it.
We'll look into it.
A different approach might need to talk to the folks at Twin City Fan and see if they might have a solution and be willing to participate in a community project.
Sure.
We've done some different things depending on the circumstances. As I recall one time they had some staff people that they had a fire incident, and they noticed that the fire department said, you could use some better fans. How about we help you with that?
We're always up for help.
Yeah.
Tell them
That
we
might-
need some air moved.
Yeah. Know anybody who's in the business?
Yeah, there you go.
Just a thought.
Sounds good. I'll reach out to them.
All right.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Rachel.
Thank you.
All right, next item on the agenda is the wage study. Erica.
Good morning.
Morning.
Okay, I sat down and reviewed the wage study. I asked Condrey and Associates just for an example on a classification and compensation plan that they did for another county, just so I could verify that what we're getting from them is what we are looking for, and what I receive from them is what we are looking for. They do that classification piece where they go through, they interview the employees, rewrite the classifications, but yet also they put the step schedule together, or what we currently call a step schedule. So we have theirs goes A through, instead of doing years, they do it like A through V, is in Victor, and then grades 7 through 26. So depending on what your grade is, which would be your job category, and then how many years you've been with the county, A through V, would depend on which salary or wage you fall under. So that's what we're looking for. So I'm going to recommend that we do Condrey and Associates for our classification and compensation study.
And what was the approximate timeline on that?
They have starting the project in June, conducting the employee interviews in July, doing the continued salary survey in August, and then having a final report to us in September. We could potentially have some of that report ready to go in August for budget purposes.
Okay. Go ahead, Mike.
Question. So that does include an implementation plan when they get down past all the rest of the first part of that project?
Yes.
That gives us a pathway over a period of a couple of years or several years to be able to transition into their recommendations?
Yes, correct. So when they did this counties, this is similar to their cost implementation. And so they did classification changes, the equity adjustments, and the total implementation costs. Now they have Plan A, Plan B, and then a Plan A modified and a Plan B modified. And so when you look at those, it's just more detail as to how these work out for each plan.
So it gives you some options and a roadmap as opposed to saying, here's where you should be, good luck. It's, okay, here's how you get yourself into it without having some sort of a fiscal hemorrhage to try and get there.
That is correct, yes.
That's oversimplifying it.
Nope, you're correct.
Okay, with that inclusion, I'd move it.
Okay, we have a motion by Weiss,
Second.
second by Feldheim to approve the wage study by Condrey and Associates, I believe. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries.
Yeah, the preliminary report will be ready for review in August. And then the final report will be September.
Very good. All right, thank you.
Thanks for that review.
Yes, thank you.
Next item is the fiscal year 2023 benefits. I believe that's you also.
It is. Okay, I'm going to pass this out to you guys. I'll send 3 this way and 2 this way. That way you guys have an idea of what I'm discussing here when we go through this. So the first one there is our health coverage. I got it. We are staying with the current Wellmark Blue Cross Blue Shield. Deductibles are still the same as what they were the previous year. This year we only had a 1.15% increase. So I cannot take any credit for that. I say it is all on the employees. The employees know what they're doing with their health coverage, and they're doing a great job. That's why we can see such little increases as we did this year. Some of the plans, when you look at that, that's an average over all 4 of the plans. So a couple of the plans went down, a couple of them went up. So I am requesting that we move forward with Wellmark as our health plan for fiscal year 2023. Any questions from any of the commissioners?
Pretty minimal increase. This is encouraging.
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion by Feldheim, second by Weiss to approve the Wellmark quotes for 2023. Further discussion?
just the usual comment that, you know, this is a really good result, but it's basically the result of what our experience has been, because when you do health insurance this way, it's essentially a deferred self-insurance program. It's based on what your experience is, so knock on wood, our employees have been healthy, and that's a good thing all the way around, and that's a good reflection of that. So this is a good result and a good thing and easy to support. Thank you.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Next on to Delta.
Next, Delta Dental. Our renewal suggested that we do a 2.9 increase. However, they looked at how stable we are with some of our previous rates, looking how stable we are and how our employees go in and monitor their health. And so we only have an increase of 1% for our dental coverage also. So for our employees, that's 46 cents on the single, 88 cents on the two-party, and for a family of 3 or more is $1.38. And so I recommend approval for the Delta Dental also.
So moved.
Motion by Weiss,
Second.
second by Gage. You're just full of good news today, that's good. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries.
No changes to the vision, as that was signed last year, the 24-month agreement, so everything for vision will stay the same.
And we just have the one facility in town that,
We don't do VSP anymore just because they only had the Vision Care, was the only one that accepted it in town. So last year we had moved over to Optalegra, and that covers the 4, the Walmart, Shopko, Vision Care, and Barnett. So there's coverage at all of those providers there for the Optalegra.
Good.
I know I've heard from some employees that the coverage isn't there for like your scratch protection or your, the Blu-rays that come off the computers. They have to pay for those, but for your most part, your exam is covered. There is some participation for your frames or your contacts. It's just those extras that aren't covered as well as they were under VSP.
Sure. But they have more options, so that's
Correct.
good too.
Yep.
All right.
And the last one would be our spending accounts. Flexible spending account, there's no change there. My request will be for the HSA, just to keep the amount that the county pays for the employees under the $3,000 deductible is higher than what is paid for the employees under the 3,500 high deductible health plan or HSA plan. There's a difference there of roughly, well, this year it will be $61.79 per pay period. So I request that that difference be put into the HSA accounts for the employees that are on that high deductible health plan. And that will be similar to years past. It's just an increased a little bit this year. So going from $1,221 a year contribution, it will go up to $1,482 a year for contribution into that HSA. And it's just keeping the benefits equal for the employees, whether they select the 3,000 or whether they select the 3,500.
And that would take effect,
This will all go into effect the July 1st.
okay?
Yeah.
So anybody who's on that plan, will it automatically be adjusted, their deduction, to keep them within range if they're there, or is
If
it
they-
gonna need to be communicated proactively?
And that will come up during the annual enrollment process. So we'll do annual enrollment in May, May 6th through the 16th, and I'll be sending all that information out. Letting them know that here's the amount that will go into your account, or your HSA account, if you have one. And then they will need to adjust their contributions from there. And depending on whether they have single coverage or whether they have family coverage under that high deductible health plan.
Well, that's basically, if you're participating in that, there's a cap in what you can contribute. If you were at that initially, then this potentially could put you over, so you have to recalculate that.
Correct, yeah.
But-
And so, yeah, in that brochure that or in that packet that I sent out for annual enrollment, it states, here's the cap that you can put in, and then what I usually do is I put kind of a formula in there. Here's the amount you can put in, minus the amount that the county contributes, so here's the amount that the employee can put in.
And I know you've been helpful in calculating that in the past when that comes up, so.
Yeah, if anybody needs help on that, they can just contact me.
So there's a correlation then between what the employee contributes and what the county contributes to that,
To the health savings account, yes.
to the health savings account?
Yeah.
And is that prorated according to, I mean?
It is prorated. They don't get it all in a lump sum at the beginning. They get it with each paycheck. So if somebody's here for, say, three pay periods in this new fiscal year, and then they terminate after that, they only get those 3 payments, or 3 contributions. They don't get that full amount. Yeah.
And that's a decision that's made by the employee, so basically they could, how would I say it, they wouldn't get necessarily an increase in their health well-mark, but they could elect to create an increase in what they're contributing to
Well,
the...
if you take the high deductible, you can put into the HSA, but there's a federal limit on how much can be put in there, and so.
But the
if-
employee makes that decision, what they want to put in.
Right.
Yeah.
Correct.
Okay.
Yep.
But if you're gonna be here for a full year and you anticipate that, then you kind of compute, okay, here's what the county's contributing, here's what I want taken out of a paycheck to get me to that limit if you're participating that way.
Yeah.
And if the county adds more halfway through the year, then you're gonna have to bring yours back down, otherwise you get into some tax issues that are just a mess.
So to make math easy, let's just say the max is 3,000. The county puts in 1,500. The employee can only put in 1,500 because that max is 3,000.
So, not to complicate it, but it's a good thing and it just needs to be covered that way, so, no, that's good news.
So I would recommend the increase for the high deductible health plan, the amount that the county contributes, just to make the benefits the same for the employees.
Need a motion?
Yes.
Move.
Motion by Weiss,
Second.
second by Fikert to approve the increase in the HSA amount. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries.
So, that's all I have
All
for
you
you
got?
guys. Any questions for me?
No, thank you for your legwork on that.
Thank you.
That's good. All right, next up, we have Dave Lunsman to discuss body cam purchase. Morning, Dave.
Morning.
Thank you.
Buy some body cams?
Yes. After an exhaustive search, it's not as easy as it sounds. The body cameras, there's just about everything, about same as buying cars and stuff. You can get just about anything you want, and it, depending on what you want to pay for it. I looked really hard because a lot of these body cams are very, very, very expensive, and they're getting worse all the time. As you saw in your packets, a lot of these, they want so much up front and they want so much per year. I came across the company, Body Cams by Retired Cops. Did a search. We've got several sheriffs throughout the state of South Dakota using that particular company, and they're all very satisfied with the product and with the service they're getting. If you see the prices here, the prices by far, even I was playing the devil's advocate with myself, is even if we had these for 1 year, we're still way better than anything else that's in this packet, by far. Now, thankfully, looking and talking to the other sheriff's offices, they've experienced much longer than 1 year on these cameras. They do everything we want them to do. They're not Cadillacs by any means, but they video record really well, audio is really well, and the playback as well. And the last thing that we needed to do is automatic download so that we can keep the evidentiary pathway intact. And that's one thing they do also with this, and they provide the program with this cost here. So I recommend that we do go with the body cams rather than some of these other very expensive ones. And there's one other one I didn't put on here that's even more expensive than what's on here, believe it or not. I think this is the best use of our money. Granted, this is on a grant at this point, so it's not really coming out of our funds at this point, but that's my recommendation. Do you have any questions?
Just refresh my memory, is there an annual contract or anything on this then?
Not on this one.
I mean,
no.
service?
No. not on this one. That's another reason that I went with this one. I don't know how much longer they'll stay with the status quo. All the rest of the companies are really going with the yearly costs anymore and fees, so we'll take it while we can. Next time I come in front of you guys, it might not be the same conversation.
How many of these are you looking at purchasing?
16. That'll get us all of our deputies at this point. Someday down in the future, I'm afraid we may have to extend that a little bit to some of our jail people also, but at this time, I'm not asking for that. And that's another thing about this program. We can buy the cameras. These other ones are by certain numbers. You have to buy a package of 4, 8, 16, 24. This one you can buy one camera at a time and plug it into the program without adding to the program itself, just per camera.
If you could design a marketing program, this would be the one.
Yes, exactly.
From a consumer standpoint.
I agree.
And then, when you get them, are you gonna surplus the other ones, or are you gonna reallocate them, or just curious?
Well, there's very few that are still functioning. The ones that we have, we'll use them in the jail, we'll use them wherever we can until they just plain are gone. But with quite a few of them have just broken and there's no fixing them.
Dated technology and just...
Yes,
Okay.
it doesn't
So,
take long.
Not a lot left. Okay, just curious.
And what was the name of the company?
It's called Body Cams by Retired Cops.
Okay.
Where's the company out of?
California, actually.
Motion to approve.
All right, we have a motion from Weiss,
Second.
second by Gage to approve the quote for the body cams. Any further discussion or questions? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries.
Thanks very much, appreciate it.
Thanks for digging that up.
Yeah, it took a while. We did test drive one out for a month prior to this too, so we did get a chance to physically touch it and find out what there were a few issues with the programming. They fixed it immediately, no problem, so I was pretty happy with them.
Well, it's important to be able to download it quickly and easily and still maintain the chain of evidence.
Correct.
So you've got all of that.
Yep. So,
Very
thank you
good.
again, appreciate it.
Thank you, Dave.
Thank you.
All right, brings us to the end of our listed items. Now on to the consent calendar. Kathy?
We have general meeting minutes of April 12th.
Move.
Second.
Motion by Fikert, second by Weiss. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries.
Claims.
Move.
Second.
Motion by Feldheim, second by Weiss. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries.
HR report.
Move.
Second.
Motion by Gage, second by Weiss. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries.
Abatement.
Move.
Second.
Motion by Feldheim, second by Weiss. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries.
Fair contract.
Move.
Second.
Motion by Fikert, second by Weiss. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries.
Leases.
Move. Second.
Motion by Weiss, second by Gage. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries.
Special event alcohol license.
Move.
Second.
Motion by Feldheim, second by Weiss. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Other business, the highway superintendent let me know to announce that load limits will be coming off April 29th, a week from this Friday. April 29th, load limits will come off the county roads.
I see the fertilizer trucks are flying. I bet you they're all legally loaded too.
I'm
Probably
sure-
running half full because you can't get enough.
Yeah, well, they couldn't afford to pay the bill, so they only got half a load.
All right.
Do you drive your Dodge pickup?
Exactly.
One of them.
You got it.
All right, under other business, I know last week on Thursday, there was a PUC hearing that I made Commissioner Pfeiffer aware of, that they were discussing the party status that we had applied for, and I believe Ross listened in on that also. Do either of you have anything to discuss regarding that hearing?
It was just more or less evaluating the party status. Brown County was approved. along with every other government entity. They kind of had them sorted into categories before the meeting started. So we kind of knew going in, and basically there was just the contested ones, you know. How far out are they going to go from the pipeline, you know, half a mile, 10 miles?
Sure.
So I think that we're going to do further evaluation on that, but we're in.
And the other thing too was that there was a change of route, and they gave 2 weeks, I think, 2 extra weeks in order for those individuals. And then that kind of centered around whether it was a half a mile away or 10 miles away, and evidently the law talks about 10 miles. And so in the end, they extended the time frame for 2 weeks so that those people that potentially could be affected in that 10-mile distance away from the new route would have an opportunity to do party status also.
Okay.
Is that a fair assessment?
Correct. They did extend that.
Yeah.
All right. Is there a need for an executive session by anyone?
The personnel matter discussed with the cost.
Okay. Anything else to come forth before we go into executive session? All right.
Make a motion.
There's a motion by Gabe,
Second.
second by Weiss, to go into executive session to discuss personnel. We are in executive session. All right, camera and mic are back on. No action as a result of the executive session. Is there anything else to come before the Brown County Commission this morning?
I was just curious whether or not the roof on the new building out there, was Judy able to get that under insurance?
Yes.
Yeah.
It was.
Yep, the adjuster, I believe, came maybe last Friday or yesterday, one of the two, but they started work yesterday. She came in and said they're hauling tires up to hold things down.
You can just hear that sucking sound.
We had it insured the day we took ownership. So.
Good.
Any other questions, anything else to come before the commission this morning? Hearing none, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Fikert, second by Weiss. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. We are adjourned.
Benefit.